Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload new content. My name is Tiffany and it is a pleasure to have you all here. I have been going to Disney just for the past year and I'm absolutely obsessed. So I wanted to just kind of answer some of the questions that I did have, and I was searching everywhere trying to find the different answers. So my hopes is just that maybe I can shed a little light on this and you won't have to search as hard and maybe decrease your stress overall and you can just truly enjoy your vacation. So when you first begin the prepping stage for your Walt Disney World vacation, there's a couple of questions that you kind of need to ask yourself. Talk it over with your family so everybody's kind of on the same page. The top question is, what is your budget? The idea is to get to go to Disney, enjoy yourself, and come home debt-free. With that being said, I was not aware of this a year and a half ago, but there is an option through Disney where you can secure your reservations for $200 and make payments on your vacation package up until 30 days before your arrival date. So it kind of makes it into more bite-sized pieces rather than the whole large chunk. So keep that in mind because it definitely makes things a lot easier. Then there are so many Walt Disney World resorts that you can decide if you want to stay on property or if you want to stay at a good neighbor. Depending on which one of those you want, kind of look into each one, see which one will meet your family's needs the most. If you plan on staying at the resort quite a bit and that's kind of more important and you want a nicer resort, if you want the nicer pools, the nicer food courts, or if you're going to be in the parks and you just need a place to sleep. So that would be the second question. And then the third one is, over the length of your vacation, how many of those days are you actually going to go into the park? So you would need to budget for that many tickets. A tip for that part would be to skip the park hopper. Those tickets are quite a bit more, and I would suggest just doing one park a day, enjoying that park for what it is, instead of trying to rush to get to another park. To me, it seems like you would spend quite a bit of your time doing the transportation rather than enjoying your days. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as well. The food and souvenirs, budget so much for that per person just so you can kind of have an idea as to how much you'll need. As far as the food part goes, remember that you can bring different food items into the park. You cannot bring loose ice, no glass jars, with the exception of baby food. So you can bring in, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Uncrustables, bottled water. Water is free at the park, but you can bring that in. There's just tons of ways that you can save when it comes to the food part. If you do choose to eat in the parks, maybe skip the table service meals, the restaurants that kind of require the reservation, and do the quick service meals. And a lot of times you can order kids meals and the portions are still large and significantly cheaper, or you could split one of the adult meals. Just kind of keep that stuff in mind because you can still enjoy the park food without spending hundreds of dollars. So remember that. And then if you are going to travel like by means of flying, or if you're going to drive down, there are certain days that you can get flights a little bit cheaper. I would suggest kind of checking them, and you can put in different kind of notifications so you can get alerts to when flights go down. That way you can kind of get in at the ideal time and save money on that. As far as rental cars, I typically, the first time we went, we rented a car as a package through the airline. This time, I searched through Sam's Club, Enterprise, some of the different budget, I think Priceline, and Working Advantage. There's just different websites that you can go and search different prices for rental cars. I did that, and I actually ended up finding a cheaper price going directly through the actual car rental site rather than bundling it with my flight. So that may not be the case all the time, but definitely shop around for that stuff, because if you can save a little here, splurge a little here, everything kind of balances out that way. The major perks of staying on property: there is Disney transportation, which is absolutely my favorite, hands down. I enjoy it. I like the convenience and just the feel of riding the Disney transportation. I've rode the monorail and the Disney buses. I've never been on the Skyliner, but that's on the list at some point. I would love to do that, but I'm a firm believer in Disney transportation. I thoroughly enjoy it. But if you are staying on property, you can park at the parks for free if you choose to drive. So you can still do that. If you decide that you do want to have an advanced dinner reservation, you can do that 60 days before your first stay day. Whether you're going to the park or not, your first day of your reservation, you can make advanced dining reservations 60 days ahead of that, and you can make it for your entire length of your stay. Whereas if you're staying off property, you have to do it 60 days from this day, then the next morning you get up and do the next day, and you can only do a day at a time that way. So that is definitely a good perk, and that availability opens up at 6 a.m. on your 60-day mark. However, there is also, and I did not know this until I went to book for my little girl, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in Magic Kingdom. If you have a little person that has to do that, because I'm super excited about that. So that actually opens up 60 days prior to your first day at 12 a.m. And I thought it was kind of cute. Whether it's related or not, I have no idea. But I thought it was cute because you have fairy godmothers that come in and do like the little makeover that work in the boutique. And 12 a.m., midnight, Cinderella's. Okay, so maybe I looked into that too much, but I thought it was really cute how everything kind of worked out. And the dining reservations start at 6, whereas that one starts at 12. So those book up really, really quick, both the dining reservations and the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So at your time, whether it be 12 o'clock, midnight, or 6 o'clock in the morning, be sure that you have set an alarm and are on there on the Disney website, and you are on there ready to book that as soon as your time strikes, because they will book up. And if that is your main thing that you want to do that day or the entire vacation or whatever, just make sure you grab that. Another thing with staying on property, you can do an online check-in at your resort, and you can list on there, it gives you the options to do like vague requests, like if you want maybe a king size bed opposed to the 2 queens, or if you want the ground floor, something more detailed, I would get in the chat on the My Disney Experience app and request that way. When me and my mom went on our trip, we had stayed in All Star Music, and I wanted to request to be placed in the Broadway section. So that wasn't an option from the little drop down menu through the app. So I just got in the chat and requested it, and luckily we got it. But the main thing is, remember that it is just a request, and the cast members do everything they can to try to meet those requests within reason, of course. But we did get those, so I was very excited. And when you do the online check-in, you can also use your phone to unlock your door. I use a Magic Band, but if you don't have that, the phone works just perfect. Another really good tip is to make sure that you are familiar with Genie Plus and budget for that. It can vary from day to day, but once you get your My Disney Experience app loaded and everything's logged in, even from home, and I do it all the time now, so I think it's one of those things where you really you miss Disney, so you just get on there and check, oh, what's the wait time for this or what's the wait time for that. But you can get on there and see kind of roughly what the wait times are, and also the park layout, whichever park or parks that you intend on going to. Just kind of look at those maps that are on the My Disney Experience app, get a feel for the layout of it, and even there are tons of videos that just like zone in on specific parks, and you can kind of follow along with them that way and see for sure, just have an idea as to how to navigate the park. So when you get there, you're not spending time being lost and confused, because it is, when you're there, it's just a lot whenever you are kind of used to smaller, maybe like fairs or little amusement parks. It's not that. So when you get there, just the more prepared you are and the more that you've kind of studied this stuff, get an idea, and that way your day can kind of go as smooth as possible. And if you know the layout and just kind of the way things work, if you have a plan, if you need to veer off of that plan, it's not so bad, because you can get right back on it. So it's good to have a plan, but also allow a little bit of cushion for error or anything that may go wrong. So just be prepared for that stuff. But I do suggest that you always take ponchos and be prepared for the rain, because you just never know. And if nothing else, if you're prepared, then maybe it'll ward off the rain. That's my thinking. So maybe that'll work. If you're prepared, then nothing will happen. But anyway, I truly appreciate you all stopping by, and I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and learn along with me, and I will see you right back here next time.